Very long. So once Terran lifts, oh boy, we're on at least ×4. Okie dokie. All right. In the top left, as the enemy, he is the red Terran Loki. In the bottom right is our hero. He is Space Duck. Space Duck, coast to coast. I love his logo. Getting Zerg. I don't remember what Space Duck usually plays, but he does say this is his off race, so either Terran or Protoss. Well, after yesterday's exciting backseat stream, where someone also dropped the drinking stream, that was fun. I woke up at like 4 in the morning, just like really hungry. Even though I ate. I did eat. I was still hungry. I guess hungover type of hungry, I suppose. Not that I was really that hungover, but anyways. So some of you might have seen me talking in Discord. But I really had a hankering for the most random thing. Just like rice and tuna. I think it was like a Loki hankering for kimbap, but pretty sure no kimbap place would be open at 5 in the morning. Maybe if I was in Korea and I spent some of my time being up in the early hours of the morning, actually just watching someone in Japan do an in-real life stream. I was like, damn. I miss things that aren't my apartment. That would just be the greatest. So I also looked into like what the prices are to travel around like May. Just like throwing out a random date, you know? And they're pretty cheap. Hopefully the world has changed, will change a lot by then, right? In this game we had a little bit of a Ling starts, but Hellenes were out. Loki doing actually a normal opener, but then, you know, starting to, I guess, get away from the usual build orders. Space Dock opening up with Hydra's first after those Lings anyways, and then into Aspire. We'll see if he actually uses it. Actually getting quite the hefty economy. So I like that. Definitely on the right track here. SpaceX just needs to fill in the gases. There you go. And he's even keeping an eye on the saturation. Very nicely done. A little bit scary not having any vision on where those Hellions are. Or what the Terran player is really doing. But it is what it is. No problem. He's actually not being attacked. So that makes it not a problem. Loki playing some straight-up turtle mech doesn't seem like he's ever going to attack, even with his Hellions. Perhaps not very confident in his Hellion control, which is fair enough. I mean, if you really don't feel confident with your Hellions, you still want to make a few, just to make sure, yeah, those Lings don't do any damage. And it's not the ESL Weekly. There we go. Oh yeah, I saw that the Aces qualifiers were happening today, and I just, I actually didn't know that they were doing community cast for the qualifiers, which is why I'm not doing it. But I did sign up for the TSL qualifiers, which are pretty exciting. The Korean qualifiers are actually at 1 a.m. my time. So that's actually really weird. I'm going to try and cast it, but I am no longer the DGen. In fact, I haven't been a DGen like that in a long time. I remember the Alima League once, like 6 years ago, changed to Friday nights. And, oh yeah, I couldn't. That was a loopy cast, but I'll try with the TSL qualifiers, which do start in the beginning of December, so after Thanksgiving break. But that should be fun. I really do want to cast the Korean qualifiers. I miss casting some Korean stuff. But it's not just odd for me. It's also odd for the Koreans, as usually they are playing late. So even something like Alima League, which does keep in mind trying to appeal to viewers, does, you know, more so appeal to the standard Korean tournament time zone, and that's actually late for them. In the case of these qualifiers, that would be like 2 or 3 p.m. Korean time, which is really weird. Yeah, a lot of the Korean pros don't necessarily do afternoon streams. I guess it's more like morning, as they are still living the quote-unquote DGen life. Anyways, just something interesting. But I'll definitely cover the North American and the European one. I went to a great forest area today, very calm and beautiful place. I read up on, you know, fitness forums and whatnot, and people talking about going hiking and stuff, and I'm like, oh, man, that's actually a really good idea. And there's tons of hiking locations around me. I don't know, I never think about it. Well, that is a very unfortunate timing on that command center. Plus, all the mules got dropped. That was like 12 mules right there. And they are not going to live. This one not even going to be controlled. We got some battle cruisers, though. They've been harassing a little bit. Yamato just finished up working on those upgrades. Very typical. Mechanical Terran here. Space Duck going for the Spire. A little unnecessary if he's going to go for the Mutas. But 13 Mutas when it is only one battle cruiser is actually not that bad. You can dance around and do some damage, but you also got Thors and Widow Mines, so makes it a little more dangerous. But you want to use that Spire more so to get into those Corruptors, especially if you see that they are going to be going into Battle Cruiser 2, 3, 4, and perhaps more after that. So I actually think Space Duck is playing quite well. His opponent is Gold League, and I think Space Duck is also Gold, maybe Platinum. But certainly playing a good game as Zerg here. This is going to be a very fragile composition, though, as Space Duck runs in with Ling, Muta, Hydra against a mech army. I'm not sure he's going to be able to take everything down, but it's actually looking quite promising. The concave of Hydra just simply having more stuff than his opponent is really working out here. The Mutas are soaking up all the Widow Mine shots, which usually isn't really ideal, but it leaves the Hydras to go ahead and rip and tear through these command centers, the SCVs, and you could probably even go up into that natural. 1 tank, 2 tanks are trying to stop that from happening. But maybe Space Duck, maybe this is when the Terran starts lifting their buildings. Okay, not quite. I'm getting a little bit nervous about breaking up into that, but perhaps not, you know, knowing if there's tanks back here or there's Widow Mines around those tanks as well. Playing it a bit cautious. Space Duck does have to deal with the battle cruiser that's been teleported across the map as well, but that'll be quick enough. Yep, the Hydras plus the Mutas helping to take that out. The Hydras even having some decent upgrades, true. Too. So Space Duck, I mean, he's not quite the drone count he would want to be. You can be up to full base saturation on all 4 bases. I mean, there's a player in the situation, but at 61 drones, certainly has accrued quite a bank for himself. And all I need to do is make sure to hit those larva injects. A PSA for anyone out there who plays Zerg and maybe doesn't know the ins and outs of StarCraft, but I think this is a really important PSA. You can shift-click injects. So, you know, if you're really unfamiliar with StarCraft, shift-clicking is literally holding down shift and queuing multiple actions. You can do that with injects as well. So if you know, it doesn't help you when the queen only has 25 energy, sure. But when the queen's like this, then you just click on her, shift, and then click inject button, which I forget right now, on top of the hatchery, and she'll vomit, you know, 5 times over. And you won't have to worry about it for a little while. But anyways, that's the only problem that Space Duck has, that he couldn't remax that fast after that attack, but it's still maxing out much faster than his opponent. Loki's managed to make a couple more Thors, but that's really not what he needs. Thors in the Supreme late game with 3-3 aren't bad to have as like the bulk of your army, honestly, but even then you still want, you know, Hellions and tanks kind of supporting them. But oh my god, oh no, the Hydra's in the choke. No, not like this. Space Duck, no, the natural's so wide open. Oh, he's gonna move into a 2 tanks that were firing on that choke. Half the Hydra's not doing any damage. And then there's also going to be a planetary, which is going to be very difficult for pure Hydra to bust down. Yikes. Okay, well, there goes that entire army. Space Duck not having nearly as good of an attack as he did beforehand. Whoopsie-daisy. It is. Perhaps not paying attention to his army, or perhaps just thinking, oh, I can do this. I mean, it was a lot of units, but that is the power of chokes right there. Definitely should have gone over to the left, maybe even up into the main base, honestly. Mutas might not be the best thing to remake. I haven't seen that many Thors, but he might be a little bit on autopilot. So he has 14 Mutas, trying to get a lot of Lings right now. Can be an okay thing to do against Tank Thor, but there are a couple of Hellbats in here, and they do have Blue Flame. They also got a 2/2/2 upgrade for Terran, but didn't really go into many more battle cruisers, just I think 2. Okay, it was 3, sorry. So 3 battle cruisers, which actually is very typical. I'm going to be honest, when I see these leagues of games, even basically non-pro games, right? Like, not even the fact that it's cold, like, this could be Masters, but yeah, I kind of expect them to just go mass battle cruiser. Which, apparently is not the Red's plan, at least not now. Maybe it was, but then his orbital got cracked, and now this planetary actually gets cracked. There's simply not a lot of things defending that, so an easy pick off for Space Duck, just like that time, positioning favoring him. Now he's out of position a little bit to deal with the Thors, but maybe with enough army. The Thor is going to use their anti-air first and foremost to help take care of the mutas, so the Hydras get to try and DPS them down as much as possible. They are at 3-1 against the 2-2 Thors, which, I mean, it's actually still a bit tricky, but there simply was enough here for Space Luck to actually clean everything up. I mean, it's actually been quite a trade, quite an even trade on that specific battle, but Space Luck does have the bigger bank and still has more bases to mine from once he replaces the drones that just died, if he wants to. He still has a huge bank on 5 bases, 54 drones. I mean, he could work with that. It's not exactly secure, though, especially as Loki tries to take a hidden base down to the bottom left. This is where things get really tricky. You get overconfident as a Zerg player. Sometimes you're at 90 drones like you should be. You still die because you get overconfident. And if you're down in drones and you get overconfident, then it's really, really tough. Yeah, Cuddle Bunny, they're gonna shoot the air first. Which sometimes isn't ideal, especially against, I think, mutas and like that specific scenario, for instance. But it's actually really helpful when they're trying to chase down Brood Lords, which is usually what you want them to be doing. Now this is getting a little bit concerning. That bottom left is mining healthily at this point. Could even maybe sneak one over into the Rich Vespian? No, wait, I'm thinking the wrong map. Thinking of Death Aura. But I thought I may be able to sneak one here. Actually, not so much. Space Luck does take the bottom left as well as the top right. But if you're going to take the hatcheries, you also need to have that saturation. So 60 is a good count to kind of like, if you're learning Zerg, right? Like 60 is a good count to not go stupidly overboard, protect yourself from some of the attacks that your opponents would be doing, and still have a good economy. But as you get better, or as you get into really like late game scenarios where it's clearly not going anywhere soon, that's where you want to be up more towards an 80. And again, another PSA that I think is just really useful is that when you're playing the video game, when you're playing the StarCrafts, in the top right with your supply, you can hover over it and see how many drones you have and how much army supply you have. So that works for all races, and if you're ever like, man, my army doesn't look that big, you can always check up in top right. It's much quicker than trying to look around and do the math, although that is also an option, if you're fast enough, I guess. Again, a lot of Hydras with some decent upgrades. This time supported by Lurkers is actually really helpful against what is now a lot of Hellbats. The Hydras simply have to run away, and then, yeah, the Lurkers will do their job. Quick snipe when the orbital command means Loki is back down to just 2 orbitals. Looks like this one on the bottom left. I don't think that was his man, but this was probably his man. The Lurkers are getting through their upgrades, so they do have their speed burrow and now working on their range. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Actually, Loki just moves into the Lurkers. Not advisable. TBH. Oh, no, not the joke! Not the joke! Not again! Yep, not gonna work out there. Now, Space Luck could just try and run headfirst into the army multiple times. Like, that can work, but this is a situation where spellcasters would be very, very useful to learn about. A couple of Vipers, and you just focus completely on the Vipers, you know, as they run forward in Blinding Cloud, would probably do the trick. You know, then they'll die. You're not going to be able to control them that well, unless you're pretty good at StarCraft, sure, but 2 suicidal Vipers just to get in there for Blinding Clouds would have done the trick. Alternatively, for another kind of just, you know, headbutt version of playing StarCraft, you could go into Broodlords right now. The Thor account has been cut, and even if it wasn't, I'm not sure that Loki would have the skills to protect his Thors from Broodlords, so that would also have been an option. But Space Luck has a problem right now, and that's that his bank has finally disappeared. His gas bank specifically. His Mineral's still doing okay, but yeah, as he tries to go into Broodlords right now, he really can't do it. Trying to find a different angle on the army is certainly a very good idea, especially as Loki moves to the third to try and protect it. Space Duck is trying to make up for earlier mistakes, but ooh, it's dragged in. I'm guessing that just was him not paying attention. And Space Duck still is only at 48 workers, so he is mining from his gases that he has. Okay, he hasn't mined from these ones, but a lot of the gases he was mining from are actually depleted right now, so he thinks he's got 6 extra gas geysers, and he doesn't. Looks like he finally found his drones that were idle. He's going to move them over to the left, but still hasn't found the gases off to the right side. And he's also moving all of his economy over to a very vulnerable base if things were to change in momentum. And things might. Loki going for triple battle cruisers right now. Despite the massive losses of army, I mean, Space Duck has done a good job of returning those massive losses, honestly. Like, if he had played this without the chokes, it's a very different resource loss trade. The Broodlords appear in the nick of time. Corruptors plentiful enough to take out the battle cruiser. That's one upside of not being able to make that many Broodlords because of the gas, that he did have enough to deal with the battle cruiser. 2 more just popped out and 3 more are on the way, but just a simple 5 Broodlords was able to cut the entire tank line as Loki just absolutely was not prepared. A couple of Yamatos go down to try and save the battle cruisers, and they would have won this fight, actually. Especially after the Yamatos. They don't stick around to do so, trying to do a bit of a base trade, but that's dangerous to do. I mean, it's almost guaranteed any Zerg player is going to have more Corruptors on the way once they realize what you're doing. Still doesn't know about the bottom left base, but most of the other map is covered, so that's kind of the one complication. Space Duck does not lose his economy. Funnily enough, putting it so far forward doesn't get it killed. It actually is a secret base to a degree. It hasn't taken the gases, so again, we have that problem as he spends his minerals and gas on a couple of Corruptors up to 7. That's actually not enough to beat 5 battle cruisers that have Yamato as well as 3-3. It's kind of scary. The Corruptors do have 3-1 to their credit. It was good upgrading from Space Duck, but yeah, the battle cruisers with their teleport plus Yamato are going to be a lot more microable. So you usually want, you know, at least double of the Corruptors, I would say. And certainly enough Corruptors to one-shot a battle cruiser, which I do not know that count. Maybe someone else out there does. I guess like 15, I don't know, something like that. The bottom left base has been found out. Just kind of figuring out, looking at the map, being like, well, where else could you possibly have a base? Maybe you saw it with the buildings, but it is found out. The buildings have been lifted, and Loki is absolutely desperate. He's got 5 battle cruisers and literally nothing else against 7 Corruptors, 4 Queens. That is a bit of a problem. Space Duck has no gas to build anything that's actually really important. Plus, he's supply blocked. A lot of Overlords went down. But a couple of Spore Crawlers are here, so that's 8 Spore Crawlers damaging the battle cruiser, so at least one of them's going to be very snipeable. These Spore Crawlers, of course, do count towards the actual victory condition of StarCraft, which is that you have to kill the last building. So that means that if this was a real threat of a base race, it really isn't. But if it was, yeah, like the Spore Crawlers would actually be kind of tough for Loki to take on. Couple of Corruptors going in ahead of the rest of their friends. I thought there was more? Oh yeah, they're just all not together. Uh-oh, that's not what you want. You don't want to send them in one at a time. That's actually really dangerous. That one battlecruiser in the red is not going to get killed here. And suddenly things are looking really tough for Space Duck. All he really needs to do... Well, actually he has to rebuild a Spire, doesn't he? All he had to do was put his guys in gas and he would have been able to build enough Corruptors. But now at this point, he has to do that, get to a lair, get to a Spire, and then build the Corruptors. So this is into an actual base race. I mean, it's still favoring Space Duck, who has a lot of bases. He has the ability to make more Spore Crawlers as well, so he's got a spawning pool, he's got drones. But if he loses all his Corruptors, then we're actually talking about a draw, since the barracks can float to the bottom left and be completely fine if there isn't an air unit. But Loki has to kill all of the structures here, all of the economy, and then we can worry about all of the structures. Now, with Yamato, he could definitely take out the rest of the Spore Crawlers, as long as he's smart about it. But if he runs over them, this battlecruiser is dead. To Big Dirty did the math. 40 Corruptors. Damn, it takes a lot of Corruptors to one-shot a battlecruiser. One more Spore Crawler finishes, but not even getting a shot off. All the drones that were over here are taken out. Loki knows not about the top right bases. All he knows about is the Spore Crawlers, actually. Well, I mean, he's gonna figure it out, of course, but... And Loki didn't actually kill the command center, so he's not getting the reveal, which is another problem. He's just, like, looking around like a chicken with his head cut off, being like, where the fuck are they? Where the fuck are they? Like, I need to get other bases killed, because he's gonna cover the ones that I do know about, because, you know, he was trying to kill these barracks. But he doesn't know about the bottom left, or he's forgotten about it, or what have you. But this also means that mules could be dropped. SCVs can't be made until he loses more supply, though, so it's like kind of a moot point. All All right, 2 more barracks gonna actually be burning. Very important here because there aren't any more corruptors. So getting them to burn means that they are going to be killed. A mule could be dropped to save these buildings. That is the reason to use mules right now. But I'm not sure he would think about it. Plus, he wouldn't be able to do it. Space Duck actually doing something really nice and leaving his lurkers here to make sure that doesn't happen. Is a nice touch. This also provides scans, of course, but I don't think the lurkers really matter. I mean, if you can take them out, like, why not, right? Because maybe somehow you can build units eventually. But anyway, I don't know. Hey, 40 corruptors didn't seem right, but I've never thought about it. Oh, no, he didn't lift! He didn't lift! Oh, those weren't even cracklings. They just had +1 melee. But just wasn't paying attention. Oh, no. Well, Space Duck has rebuilt his spore crawlers. Or moved them. He's moved them. He's rebuilt a spawning pool. He's trying to get gas to get up to a spire. We're down to the last few seconds of the game, I think. You know, at this point, Space Duck had seen the starport with the Overseers, but then also just got confirmation that is, in fact, the last building. And all Space Duck has to do is get to a spire. 1 battlecruiser goes down as Loki's not being very smart about taking on these spore crawlers. You can Yamato them and not take damage. Are the spore crawlers gonna win this game? Yeah, he's finally Yamatoing them. Okay, there's 1 spore crawler left. I do not think it can take down all 3 battlecruisers. Another spore crawler being built off to the right side, but that's it. That's only 1 spore crawler left, you guys. That's 1 spore crawler against 1 starport. Space Duck still has not made a spire, despite having lair, despite having drones. Perhaps panicking right now. He sends a drone to the bottom left, maybe, is where it's going, and it's going to try and build a spire. It just has to start the spire. The lair could die, and the spire would live, being on creep tumors, even if it wasn't. If it was started on creep, and then the creep disappeared for whatever reason, like it's an overlord dropping, I think a spire still would be okay. Well, that's actually a bit questionable, isn't it? I would like to see that happen. But, anyways, in this weird result, if he were to build a spire with, like, the overlords... I don't know, where are their overlords? There's not many overlords. These are spreading creep. He could do it somewhere secret, somewhere hidden. But at this point, just thinking about his last buildings, he builds a hatchery. There's the spire. It's going down to the main base, actually. Where there is definitely creep spread to keep it alive. Loki has no idea about this. He's chasing what is the last spore crawler. But I don't think it's the last spore crawler for very long. Space Duck has enough minerals and gas to make, what is that, 3 corruptors? 3 corruptors wouldn't take on 3 battlecruisers, though. He needs to get gas as well. His drones go to the top left, where they could be building a lot of hatcheries, but he's not doing it. The battlecruisers move back over to the right side, so they're going to take down this hatchery and perhaps find the spire. They certainly find the overlords. That's actually a problem as well. The spire needs supply. God, to actually make shit. Don't know. Thank you, Holy Hit, for the raid. This is a lot more of a nail biter than it really should have been. I don't know, guys. This hatchery's gonna go down, but that's a quick and easy cancel, or just like, he doesn't even have to cancel it, honestly. He has 6,000 minerals. Okay, that's dead. I'd say you'd cancel it to try and get the drone out, but that's not gonna happen either. We got 1 corruptor on the way because the larva's a problem? I think the larva was a problem. That second larva only just popped. Well, now the spire's gonna die. He has 1 corruptor. He's gonna go after the starport. He's headed right towards the starport with the corruptor. He's gonna dive. He's gonna dive with 1 corruptor, you guys. That's his plan. Oh my god. The spire goes down. The hatchery goes down. This hatchery's gonna go down. The corruptor is not seen. I don't think the battlecruisers saw it. They're gonna chase down the drones instead of the corruptor. The drones will die, but they might buy an extra couple of seconds as the corruptor goes to the bottom left to find the starport. How many shots from a corruptor does it take to kill a starport, you guys? Oh my god, the corruptor is so fucking dead. Oh, run! Run! Oh my god, it ran, but that was the Yamato! Oh my god, it killed it! Oh no! No, the Lynx can't do anything! The Overseers can't do anything. Space Duck, are you gonna lose this game? Are you gonna lose this game? Not like this, Space Duck. Oh my god. He still has a hatchery, actually. The hatchery lived. The drones were chased down. He could try and make drones from here. And then a spawning pool. And then spore crawlers. Or queens, I guess. One queen at a time. That would not to be take care of the starport, though. That would be to take care of the battle cruisers. But I think the starport landing might be a big problem. Loki, why would you land the starport? Why are you not ferrying the starport with your battle cruisers? What are you doing, mate? Space Duck, seize your structures! Oh my god. I was gonna... God. I mean... I'm like mad at whoever loses, honestly. Like, how does like... Both players should have won this game. You know what I'm saying? And both also should have lost it, but I guess it's what a draw is, so... it should have been a draw. Oh, no. Well, Space Duck thankfully did lift his starport, so, I guess Space Duck... Oh, no. Oh my god, what if the lurkers kill it? What if he tries to land it for God knows what reason? I don't know why he landed it 5 seconds ago. I don't know why he would do it now. What if he lands it on top of the lurkers? I feel like they'd almost one-shot it. They certainly make it burn, and that's what we're trying to get to. Like, all that Corruptor had to do was get it to burn. I didn't even think about that until just now, but that's all it had to do, was get it into the red. Space Duck has no more drones, you guys. He never made any more drones. He got supply blocked at some point. He can't make any drones now as the hatchery is done. He can't build a drone. He can't build a drone. He can't build a queen. He needs to kill his own units. He needs to kill his lings and his lurkers. The spawning pool goes down again. I didn't even realize it was still up there, but it goes down again. Space Duck, let your lings die. You need to get rid of at least 13 supply. He's building an overlord. Well, that makes sense. You're gonna have to build a second overlord? Okay, that's gonna be enough. That's gonna be enough. He can then make that queen. And a drone. This is a spore crawler that's being moved over, but a spore crawler could be Yamato'd very easily. We're still talking about a single starport against what is now a single spore crawler and a single hatchery. Loki doesn't know where the hatchery is. You know, he knows he's being revealed, but he doesn't know where Space Duck is, because Space Duck being able to rebuild his hatcheries. He's gonna go ahead and help more supply be freed up by killing these lings. Thank you very much. Uh-oh. No, they're pursuers! They're pursuers! No, that's supply. That's supply. Okay, well, you build more overlords and you build more spore crawlers. That's what you do, right? That's what you do. He's building his spore crawler again, or sorry, spawning pool, so he can build more spore crawlers and more queens. Loki eventually will find this, though. I feel like those drones have to skedaddle and have to make a hatchery down in the bottom left or something, right? Like, they actually can't drone. There's no point in them mining right now anyways. There really isn't. He's still got 4,200 minerals, like... Oh no. Oh, the battle cruisers are gonna be coming in. One's very weak. One could go down, I think, if he's not gonna Yamato. He's pretty late to the Yamato. There's actually 3 target fire there from Loki. Good on him. Trying to kill the one weak battle cruiser. He's not gonna be able to. His hatchery. No, he's gonna lose his drones. If he loses his drones, he loses his hatchery. He loses access to winning this game. No, the drone! The drone! Oh my god. He could try. Yeah, I was gonna say, he could try. He's got supply now. He could try and get these drones out of the way. No! Oh my god, no, he didn't build a building! Oh, I forgot! Oh, it was his last building! Oh no! Ah! How frustrating. Why would you do this to me, Space Duck? Well played, Space Duck.